Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Donjo number 1702-626 satin chrome roller latch is what this one is. This is a nice quality roller latch from Donjo. They have more than one, and we'll go about that. We'll go into a bit more of that in a moment. This roller latch is very commonly going to be seen installed in full-size doors. 1 3/4, 3070 type doors. And why is this one a common one for that? Well, it's robust. It can handle the weight of that size door. It's common in terms of the size and width of the item. It allows you to tailor the projection of this roller so that you can get the proper amount of force required to keep the door in the closed position. It's going to include a T-strike, which is very common that you'll see in millwork. Okay. There's a feature on the Donjo version that I like a lot, and if you are a person who works with, if you're a woodworker, if you are an installer or a carpenter, someone who machines doors and frames for hardware, you'll understand certainly what I'm saying. When you're prepping for this exact roller latch from Donjo, and there are others who make this design, but Donjo does a great job with it. There's a feature to it that I like a lot, and you can't really see it on the camera, but the edge of the plate, it's not 90 degree. It's a bit beveled. The reason that that's super nice is when you mortise for the hardware per the template, and then you install the hardware down into it, you get a very hairline tight margin around the faceplate. It really is a hallmark of fine finished hardware that you will have that incredibly tight margin, and this design of Donjo allows that. There is a link below this video to a document called Template where we can review those dimensional properties. Overall width of this unit is basically 1 inch. Marginally heavy on that. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. Overall length, about 3 3/8 roughly. Now what you're going to notice on that template is they say mortise 0.93 inch for the mechanism. And I believe that there is a typo on there. I would think that it ought to say 3.2 inch by 1.6 inch. So 0.93 wide. That's 1.03. So that's 0.01 inch. If you took a 32nd of an inch and divided it by 3, that's what that would be. So it's a 96th of an inch, and that's where you get that tight margin. They're telling you mortise ever so slightly smaller, and you're going to get that very tight sort of margin. I see another typo on there as well. That's an advantage of talking about or talking to people who do machining or have machined doors for hardware. It's nice to have the hardware in your hand because, in my opinion, the best friend of the woodworker is not the router, but it's the caliper. You can get that piece of hardware in your hand and then actually measure it. Do a reality check against what the template says, and then go from there. Make sure everything makes sense before you cut. Your client might very likely say to you, I don't want to ship the hardware to your location, just machine it from the template. And if you're qualified to do it, of course you can machine to a template. That's no problem. But you do like to catch things like this, and there's at least 2 instances of a typo on here. So the 0.93, the 3.2, that's going to make sense down here. Well, 3.2 would be a bit tight, that's for sure. 3.3 would be probably better for that. The 1.6 is a reference to the depth of the body. 1 5/8 roughly. Prepping for this is going to be a 2-step situation. You're going to do the body with your router, and then you're going to do the plate. The plate is the width, the height, and the thickness of the plate. The body is the width, the height, and then the depth of the body. And you can see that you don't need, as a result of this body design, you don't need the full width for the body preparation. And I would strongly urge that you not prep it for the entire width. You put a caliper on there and realize, well, there's a little shoulder that's sticking there. You're probably going to want to take a little bit of dimension off of that. Okay? And really what they're saying is that mortise is going to be more so for the body, for the mechanism, is really what it is. It's not necessarily a typo. So they're saying mortise 0.93, and then, let me guess, that's 2.2 inch? Okay, so we're down to one typo on the paperwork, 2.2 inch. Score 1 for Danjo and 0 for me. And then that 0.93, sure, that's going to make sense. The typo that I see on there is that 0.93 dimension for the width of the roller itself. 0.93? Yeah, definitely not. I mean, 0.63 maybe. Dimensions for the T-strike that are there. This is going to be 2 3/4 tall. It's going to have an overall width of about 1 inch and 13/16. Strikes like this are measured from the center line of the screw hole to the edge of the lip. And that looks like it's about 1 inch and 5/16, which would be typical and common for a normal installation. Thickness of this plate is 0.57 thick, so just about a 16th. Same sort of scenario. You're going to mortise deeper for that recessed area of the strike, and then the height and width, that smaller, thinner amount. Instances like that I like to have around a couple of Forstner bits that I can use to make quick, clean, flat bottomed holes and just chisel out the sides of it to make them straight. Screws are included with this. You're going to get machine screws and wood screws, I suppose, for the strike. That's for the body alone. They're assuming a wood door certainly for this body. Now you can adjust the projection on this by loosening or tightening these two screws that are going to draw that back plate in, okay, which is going to give you the ability to not only tailor that projection, but then those back springs, the larger ones back here, are going to control the unit when it's actually operated, the depression of the roller wheel itself. Okay, they refer to different finishes that this is available in, and that's certainly brass. So this is going to be 626 finish. 605 is available. They're going to be able to give you, which is polished brass. 613 is available. 619 is available. 620 is available. Okay, start over. 605 is polished brass. 613 is oil rubbed bronze. 619 is satin nickel. 620 is antique nickel, and then 626 is satin chrome. Surprisingly, they don't have polished chrome listed. We can certainly help you with that should you need polished chrome, so feel free to reach out to us. There is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can review not only all of the Danjo products that we sell. Actually, before we get to it, there's a link below this video to the product catalog, which is very handy because it will allow you to review all of the different types of bolts and accessory hardware from Danjo. I like to pull such a document up and then do a find function for the part number that I'm looking at, 1702 in this case. That will allow me to get to the page where I can find this material, look at this roller latch and the others that they offer as well. They're going to give you the 1700 series body, but then they'll give you a full lip strike, a T-strike, and then a 4 7/8 strike. They'll be able to give you for different frame applications. And the inclusion of those machine screws will be in case you're hanging that wood door in a steel frame, I suppose, that would have a T-strike preparation on it. Now, finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Danjo products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. If you have any questions on the Danjo 1702 in a 626 finish, or any other Danjo product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.